Hello, and welcome to another episode of Movies, they're pretty good. I'm your host, Travis Dudding, and today we have a special guest. We got my friend Doug Alcantara. Doug, why don't you say hi?
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm truly so excited to do this, and like a true good friend, I have not listened to 1 minute of your podcast before,
As
so this is
expected.
all new to me. Very excited. I'm as fresh as can be.
Well, you know how you listen to all those professional podcasts? This is nothing like that. Has no merit, value, or comedy in
Good,
it.
very good.
All
Then I could
right,
just be
so
myself. Then
yep, exactly. So today we're talking about Wes Anderson. Way back a few years ago, probably a lot longer ago than I'm thinking. We marathoned most of Wes Anderson's movies. That was a good time. I
that's
think
right.
the only
We did
ones
from
we
Bottle Rocket all the way to
Budapest,
now
I
I
think.
Budapest. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. That was great. I think the only one, for whatever reason, Fantastic Mr. Fox would not play. Is that we didn't watch that one.
I have to
But yeah,
admit, I was a little relieved because
yeah.
that movie creeped me out.
Yeah, the
It
the most
do people
uncanny
complain
valley.
about that?
I don't know. I'm sure there are people that do. I it's one that I'm surprised has as much fondness as it does. But people really love that one. And yeah, I mean I love it too. We even watched it in my media aesthetics class. I forget what
Wow.
the subject was, but it was an example. When we watched the whole thing, I was like, oh, no, I don't have to pay
Mhm.
attention. I've seen this a billion times.
Oh, well. Great.
Yep.
That's awesome.
All right. So, yeah, we're going to go through each of the movies, talk a little bit about them, but we'll talk a lot about Moonrise Kingdom because that's your favorite, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yep.
I just rewatched it last night with family and
Yeah.
it holds up to the very like high bar of a memory I had for it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. I did a rewatch of it last night too. And was super glad I did because for whatever reason this month not all of Wes Anderson's movies are streaming. Usually you can find most of them, but right now you can't, and all of my criterions are in a box in the garage. So as I'm transitioning from state to state. So but yeah, I had the digital copy on my iTunes, so I watched it on there, and yeah,
Cool.
love that movie. It's so good.
Uh,
Um, so yeah, starting out, we got Bottle Rocket. This is with Owen and Luke Wilson, and the third, less popular Wilson. I already forgot his first name.
Russell Wilson, quarterback for the
Oh,
Denver
that's right.
Broncos.
That's right. None of them are playing brothers in the movie, and I think Owen Wilson's nose helps that. Um, but
I forgot they weren't playing brothers.
yeah, but they play like a group. It's a group of like idiots basically that try to rob. They try to get in with this like heist group run by James Caan, and they rob a bookstore, and then they hide out in a hotel for a while, and just nothing goes their way the whole time. But it's hilarious. It's I'm pretty sure a lot of inspiration for things like Napoleon Dynamite and
Hmm.
Nacho Libre. It's very similar humor style. Like, I don't know. But
I completely agree. I
yeah.
remember because I had not seen, for the listeners, I had not seen any Wes Anderson films before Bottle Rocket. It was your idea to be like, let me introduce you to the world of Wes Anderson, and we'll
No.
do the entire thing. We'll do everything from the beginning. And I remember Bottle Rocket not being what I pictured because when I
Mhm.
think of Wes Anderson at the time, like it was like Grand Budapest Hotel, and
Yeah.
that imagery was everywhere, and that was like what you think of when you think of Wes Anderson.
Hmm.
And that this felt like an indie movie, like you're
Yeah.
saying, like Napoleon Dynamite. Was
Hmm.
it technically indie?
Yeah, because this was they had made a short in college. um, of Bottle Rocket, and it got picked up in some festivals and stuff like that, and they got the budget to make it into a full feature. And because they just went to the three of them went to college together. I forget which university, but it was in Texas. But yeah, that's basically what it was. They were friends. They made this movie together. It was Owen and Wes were the screenwriters. Yeah.
Okay.
And they
Okay.
were writing partners for not the first half, but most of the early stuff.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I blanket statement, I liked all of the movies, but Bottle Rocket was a very interesting because I kind of got to as we like watched more, I got to kind of see like him like become like when I think of Wes Anderson, I think of the cinematography. So that's what I was like looking for from the
Hmm.
beginning. And here's where I need to make a disclaimer.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm talking about. I hope this is good for
No,
the
you're
listeners
good.
of your I should have said from the beginning, top level. I'm not really like a movie watching person. I enjoy great movies when someone's like, let's go see this. You have to watch this, whatever.
Mhm.
My favorite movie of all time is Inglorious Bastards,
Yeah.
which we watched together for the first time.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Moonrise Kingdom is probably right there.
Yeah. No.
I was disheartened to find that it doesn't have the, and I'm very distracted, but I was disheartened to find that it did not have the IMDb rating that I would give it.
Dude, IMDb ratings are all over the place. You got like a few that belong in the top 250 in my opinion. Um, but you'll find that most of the really good movies are at like the sevens on IMDb. I feel
Right.
like Letterboxd, the app is a little more accurate, but still you got people who are a little too pretentious on there. So you got
Is
like
I've sorry, go ahead.
no, you got it's like IMDb is all like fanboys and they'll like, oh, like Endgame should be the like a 10 out of 10
Yeah,
for
yeah,
all
okay.
8 billion people on the planet should have voted it 10 out of 10. And then also like there's a bunch of like Bollywood movies in the top 250 and a lot of them are really good, but you could tell that there's a strong Bollywood fan base that are voting for movies on IMDb. And then you
Yeah.
got the people on Letterbox that are like, "Oh, this the hardest movie you've ever watched about the Holocaust from a Russian perspective." And it's the and that's the number one movie on Letterboxd.
Oh my God.
It's
Okay, okay.
good, but it's one of those like, oh man, I need to shower after that. That's I feel disgusting. I'm depressed. I need to.
Oh my God. Okay, good to know. Because I was gonna ask, I've seen people post like, here's my letterboxed, right? Like,
Mhm.
as I understand it, it's like, what is it? Is it you? Anyone can go on there and like submit reviews
Yeah,
for
it's kind of like
movies.
social media for movie freaks like me. Um, and you go in, you can log what movies you've seen. You can rate them, like them, add your four favorites and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. You have your top eight of movies,
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
one of them gets really hurt and sad and posts ambiguously about
Yeah.
that they've fallen out of your top eight,
Yep.
changes their song on their movie profile.
Yeah.
This is a deep cut for anyone under the age of maybe 30.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm
Yep.
immediately alienating people.
Well, according to my demographics on Instagram, like we're good.
Okay, good.
We're on the younger end.
Oh, great. Well, hopefully I'm not alienating people above as well.
Yeah. This is like AIM.
This is
Oh,
like mailing a friend.
yeah. This is like pen pals.
You'd give the letter to the man in the horse-drawn wagon.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Now I'm
Oh
going too
man.
far in on the other way. Anyway, I'm not so just yeah, so I'm not I've not seen many great movies. I haven't seen many movies, but the
Yeah.
ones that I've seen largely at your suggestions, I've loved every single one.
Mhm.
I remember there was a moment. Is this good for structure where I
Yeah.
just talk randomly, stream of
No, this
consciousness?
this actually this is what I think makes a podcast great, and I think it's what's missing from my podcast is just having someone else to tangent with.
Okay, good. Good.
Because
Yeah.
Tyler's been the only guest and he's not a good tangenter.
Okay.
He's very
Well,
on topic, as
let
the
me fill
listeners
your
know.
let me fill your tangent quota for the next
Yeah.
100 episodes. It was when you and I took a road trip
Mhm.
across the country from Maryland to San Diego,
Yep.
technically Temecula, California. And we were in El Paso and we watched, was it El Paso? We watched The Phantom Thread.
That oh
Where were we?
oh, Phantom Thread was in Phoenix.
Okay, we were,
Yeah.
yes, okay, okay. Because
It
we
was the
watched
game night
Game
movie.
Night.
Yeah.
That's right. Two very different.
Yeah, that's the opposite of the spectrum. Phantom
Yeah,
Thread. It's like, oh, you know what's great after
yeah,
game night? Phantom
yeah.
Thread.
Man, that Jesse Plemons is a great actor. What's this other one? Yeah. And we
Uh,
watched, yeah, okay. We were in Arizona and we saw the Phantom Thread.
yep.
And that was maybe the most like uh award-worthy film maybe I've ever seen,
Yeah.
perhaps. And I remember walking out of that movie being like, okay, uh
Yeah.
I don't I don't really know what to make of it besides I'm very impressed and I don't know how to like say why.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's literally like how I felt after There Will Be Blood the first time. Because I had
Yeah,
seen it with my dad at the theater and we were both like, hmm. Just weren't sure. And then I just kept thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it, and then
yeah,
bought it when it came out on DVD. This was pre-Blu-ray. So
that's right.
yeah.
And we watched it
Yep.
at your parents' house. And I remember maybe the first thing I said afterwards was there finally was blood.
Yeah. Yep. There is a promise. It took two and a half hours at least.
At the very least, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Another great one.
Oh
Daniel Day
yeah.
Lewis
Yep.
is incredible. And yeah, I don't know like what necessarily makes a great performance in a movie, but I
Yeah.
know that he's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's definitely people that get Oscars for most acting rather than best acting. And but Daniel Day-Lewis, he's a good one. He's really good. Yeah.
Can I get most distracting tangents?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So yeah.
That's a good recap on me.
Yep.
Yeah. And my attachment to movies and films and
Yep.
cinema experiences.
Yeah. I think that covers what because I don't want to go too deep on Bottle Rocket because I'll probably give that one its own episode someday. But
Okay,
uh
great.
yeah, well it's so good. It's so different because oh yeah, I think that I was gonna mention this. Owen Wilson was his writing partner for like the first few movies, and that shift into the Wes Anderson we know now is more I think it's Roman Coppola is his current writing
Hmm.
partner, and that's and they're all good. It's just you could tell there's a vibe shift there.
Got
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I definitely noticed in the like opening credits of Moonrise Kingdom last night. I saw a Coppola in there,
Hmm.
and I
Yeah.
remember thinking, you wouldn't have that last name if you weren't.
Yeah.
That can't be right, right?
Yeah. Who there's someone who is a Coppola that changed their name. I forget if it's Nicolas Cage or something,
Oh, really?
but he's like a
An
cousin.
actual?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I think even
Okay.
Jason Schwartzman, and that's probably how
Oh, wow.
yeah, how Roman got involved maybe. Oh, meet my cousin. He's a screenwriter. and and related to the one of the most famous directors ever.
Of all time. Yeah.
Uh,
Is that a
so
good
yeah,
enough pitch for you?
yep, Well, speaking of Jason Schwartzman, next up is Rushmore,
Is
which
that the
is,
second one?
yeah, that was the second one.
Wow.
And I think that's what really put him on the map. I think like uh a lot of like presence at the MTV Movie Awards. That's one of the special features on the Criterion Collection is all the like TV spots they did for MTV movies. Um but yeah, that one's great. That's Jason Schwartzman when he's still a teen. Uh has one of the funniest lines ever that I don't think I want to say because I'm gonna butcher it.
Oh God.
But I kind of have to though because I mean hopefully you've seen the movie or we'll go see it and see the actual good delivery of it. But when Jason Schwartzman does a play and he has a crush on one of the teachers at the school, she he goes out to dinner with her and his best friend, 40 years his senior, Bill Murray. And she brings her boyfriend, Luke Wilson, who just came from the hospital because he's a surgeon. And he's like, "Oh, nice of you to wear your nurse's outfit to my dinner." And he said, "These are OR scrubs." And he says, "Oh, are they?" And that's maybe the funniest line ever. It's the most clever, at least, because
It's such a dig without profanity or
yes,
like
yes,
being like straight up like mean, but it is like just so sarcastically like I'm immediately writing you off your
yeah,
achievement. Like you maybe just saved a life, or
yeah,
earlier this week had to like tell a family bad news.
yeah.
Oh, are they?
You only have like one of the hardest jobs to exist, but I'm gonna downplay the shit out of you.
That's fun. I forgot. Okay. Was Bill Murray in Bottle Rocket?
No, that's the only one up until this last one, Asteroid City, that he wasn't in. So the first Wes Anderson one that he was in was Rushmore, and then that started this trend of or tradition of him being in every single movie, and it was just scheduling conflicts that kept him out of Asteroid City. And that's so Steve Carell's role was supposed to be Bill Murray. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay, so I
Yeah.
haven't seen Asteroid City yet, and
Yeah.
doing our rewatch of Moonrise Kingdom last night, we're like, okay, we have to watch Asteroid City.
Oh
That'll be
yeah.
good to know because I'll be now knowing the casting change.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah,
yeah, now you got to watch it thinking about because the first
yeah,
time I saw it in the theater, I laughed. I'm like, wait, Bill Murray wasn't in it, and then I read that later. Yeah,
got
but yeah,
it. Okay,
Rushmore's great, and a bunch of great like iconic lines too. Jason Schwartzman was early bloomer for sure because he's
yeah. How
hilarious
old
in
was
that.
he in Rushmore?
I am not 100% sure. I know he was under 18. I feel like he was like 16, maybe 14. Yeah. But
That's so funny.
yeah.
He still kind of does everything with like that boyish charm.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's still out there, putting in the work. He was in the he voiced the villain in Across the Spider-Verse or Beyond. What is it? The whatever the second animated Spider-Man that's not MCU but is good.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been told it's great again.
Yeah.
Not that now I'm not a movie guy.
Yeah.
I also when people start talking to me about comics, I go cross-eyed.
Oh yeah,
And
same.
people go, I know I'm sure that it's a work of art. People say the animation is like next level. It's they've
Mhm.
put so much like sweat, blood, and tears into this thing, and I go, really good for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that was my take for the longest time, and then I would just needed something. It I was with the kids, and the second one was going to be playing in the theater here, so I'm like, you know what? I never saw the first one. Let's watch the first one and see if it's good, we'll go see the second one, and then we did that, and they were pretty good. But yeah, I'm the same way with comics. I know next to nothing. Most of my knowledge is all MCU based up to Endgame, and then now I'm like losing steam on that.
Oh
because
yeah, big time.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
everyone, America is, the world is.
I have no idea what happened after Endgame.
Yeah.
We tried watching some of the like MCU stuff on like Disney Plus,
Hmm.
and I don't like Loki was probably the last one we watched, which I enjoyed. And I
Yeah.
know that there's a season 2 of that. Maybe we'll watch it, but we
Yeah.
tried to watch Hawkeye and made it 2.5 episodes in. We're like, oh,
Yeah. For me, like Loki was the best one of those because I watched most of them up to a certain point and I still haven't even touched season two.
yeah.
And like Miss Marvel is, or the Marvels. Miss Marvel's the show. The Marvels, the new one that's in the theater, is going to be the first one I won't see in the theater since the first Guardians, and that was just because I had little kids in 2014. Yeah,
Wow, that's crazy.
yeah,
Did you like WandaVision?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was good. Yeah.
Maybe I can be on that one because I loved that
Hmm.
if when you know obviously I love movies, they're pretty good, is going to
Yeah.
tackle television streaming series. um when you do that one, I'll
Yeah.
be on it too. I almost called this I love films.
That's a different sub podcast of another.
Yeah. That's another sub podcast within a spin-off of a podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my
Oh
goodness.
man. So I think
Right.
next is Royal Tenenbaums. And I think this is where he like really this is where he cemented his style of the like very symmetrical, those pastel colors, big casts, uh yeah, lots of cameos, quick dialogue. I mean, all that was like kind of creeping in, but this is where it's like this is where he made his blueprint of this is Wes Anderson style.
Okay.
Which
Yes.
speaking of, and this is
I've been trying to like put my like finger on like what is his style, but you're right.
well,
Symmetry,
his style
pastels.
is can
Yeah.
be cemented
Yes.
in this book that I found. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to have this. And
Oh,
it's
that's awesome.
yeah. But yeah, very just I don't know. It's very aesthetic.
I want that book too. I want like a of a Wes Anderson style landscape in my
Yeah.
house somewhere. And
Yeah.
people say, "Oh, are you a big Wes Anderson fan?" And say, "Yes," but don't ask me too much.
Yeah. Well, you probably know more about Wes Anderson than most of the people making the Wes Anderson TikToks did. So
Those were great. I really liked
they
those
were
though.
good. They
So
were
some
good.
of them were really, really like
Yeah.
good.
It was those
You could
good
tell they're
ones. And
probably
then
like
there was
film
a
students or something.
yeah. Yeah, you could tell who was like real into it, like either real into film or knew what they were talking about. And then
Yeah.
there's people that were missing missing the point, I think.
And then there were some that were just like skibbity toilet,
Yeah.
which is I don't know that ever happened, but that's me trying to make fun of a thing that may or may not
Uh,
exist.
yeah. Yeah, Royal Tenenbaums is great. A lot of weird family dynamics, which I think a lot of people can relate to. I do have a question though. Do you think that the sibling relationship is what started the stepbrother porn craze?
Unfortunately, I'm more familiar with one of these things than the other. What is the I don't so Royal Tenenbaums I don't remember very well.
So
Can you
it's
describe the sibling relationship in
so
it and who
Gwyneth
gets stuck in the
Paltrow,
dishwasher or whatever?
yeah. No, Gwyneth Paltrow was the adopted sister, and her and Luke Wilson's character, so her adopted brother, are like kind of into each other. But it's like one of those like
Okay.
forbidden love things. I don't know if like anything, I don't remember anything concrete happening, but yeah.
Okay. You're maybe. You
Yeah,
may be
maybe.
right. When did Royal Tenenbaums come out?
That was like
2000.
2001, I think.
Okay, so we're in the shadow of 9/11.
Yes.
I
Maybe that relationship is what caused it.
that was the branch in the multiverse.
Yeah. This
Oh
is
my
the canon
god.
event.
Oh my
Uh,
god, that is funny to think. I wonder what is like the I hope it was a piece of media that inspired this whole genre of
yeah.
other media, and
Yeah.
hopefully not. Because I remember when that first started becoming a thing, because I first saw jokes about it, and
Yeah.
I was like, "What? Like what?
Yeah.
It's disgusting."
Yeah.
As you know, I couldn't possibly imagine someone being like searching for that, because here's where it came from. Probably someone
Yeah.
ruined in the head
Yeah. It's like
was
looking for
disappointed
something
by search
specific.
results. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this doesn't exist. You want something done right? Do it yourself. And history was made.
Oh
Not
my
good
god.
history, but
No, no.
search history.
Search history was cleared.
Oh man. So yeah, that's
That's Royal Tenenbaums.
yeah. What are you doing, Step Tenenbaum? All right. All right. So after that, it's Life Aquatic, which
Yes.
it's
This
another.
is the first one I remember seeing marketing for when I was a teenager.
Mhm.
I was
Yeah.
maybe 13-ish, probably when I started seeing it. I remember that's probably the first like Wes Anderson art that I had ever seen, like movie posters up and billboards and commercials and stuff.
Yeah.
This was like, oh, that looks really interesting.
Hmm.
But
I
I didn't
feel
have any appreciation for the work leading up to it
yeah.
at that time, of course.
I feel it's the same for me. Not now that I think about it. I know I heard about Royal Tenenbaums a lot, but that was just at school. So that was just other people that were a little ahead of me, art wise, I guess. Um, art film wise. But yeah, that's probably the first one I remember seeing a lot of. That's Bill Murray's the star of that one. A lot of good this is when he starts dipping his toe into stop motion as well, because there's like some of the sea creatures are stop motion. And
That's
that's kind of
right.
got him the guys got his foot in the door to do Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. And Isle of Dogs and
Yep.
et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, he uses it a lot later on, even if it's not like a full movie. There'll
Hmm.
be random shots. Like there's a little woodpecker or road runner that goes across the road in Asteroid City that you could tell is like stop motion.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's
Yeah.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll look for it. And that's also played by Steve Carell.
Yes. Actually, the whole movie's all Steve Carell. It was COVID, so he just did every
Oh
role.
my God.
It's Steve Carell as Michael Scott.
Running across the street.
Yes.
Can you give me a plot summary of The Life Aquatic?
So
Because
Life
I can't
Aquatic.
remember it well.
So Bill Murray is Steve Zissou. That's the full title, Life Aquatic, The Adventures of Steve Zissou. Event? I
I think
wish
it's
I
The
had my
Life
boobies.
Aquatic with
Yeah,
Steve
I think
Zissou.
so.
Yeah.
And then he's the host of like a Jacques Cousteau type docu-series, basically. And his partner got eaten by a shark way back. And so he's out on like a revenge trip to go find the shark and kill it. And um, Owen Wilson is his estranged son that he didn't know about, I think. And he's a pilot, I think, airline pilot, and he goes along with the adventure. And then there's a journalist there, kind of documenting everything. She's played by Kate Blanchett, and yeah, a bunch of different people. Willem Dafoe is on the crew, uh, and you got I believe Brazilian singer So George or Sue. I forget. I don't know how to,
That's
but
the guy
he's
playing the
doing.
guitar
Yeah,
throughout,
he's the
right?
one with the
Yeah.
guitar doing Bowie covers the whole time. And
That's so
so
cool.
it's one of the better soundtracks, I think. Yeah.
That's so neat. Yeah, I remember, I think it's maybe the opening crawl of that movie where it's kind of like this cross-section view of maybe the submarine or something where they're just going like room to room and you're
Yes.
just like seeing that's something he does, I think, a lot. And he definitely did it in Moonrise Kingdom,
Oh yeah.
where they're just showing you characters
Hmm.
and they're just so inherently interesting, just doing like writing a note or painting something or playing guitar
Yeah.
that you go, wow, I can't wait to find out what that guy's deal is.
Yeah. Literally, like they could be doing anything, and then he just can make it look so interesting. Which is
Yes.
which is something I was talking about in my last episode about David Lynch, but he goes like a completely different way, but also makes it just feel very interesting. And it's
Yes.
the most mundane stuff, and you're just like, oh man, you just want to keep
It's just
watching and watching.
it's yeah, yeah. The beginning of each like sometimes like when I'm watching a movie, like when a scene ends and something new begins, that's when I grab my phone and then I wait for like dialogue or something to happen that like grabs my attention back.
Yeah.
But I I don't find myself doing it. I definitely couldn't do that with Moonrise Kingdom because every time a new scene starts, they've set up a new campsite
Mhm.
or, someone is smoking a cigarette in an interesting way or, or
Yeah.
something, like it just from the onset, it grabs your attention. You
Hmm.
you miss nothing. It's
Yeah.
that like first flash of a scene, you're already like, oh, how did this happen?
Yeah. So
And
good.
the colors are good for the neuron activation in my brain.
Yep.
Just pretty colors on the screen, like a kid watching YouTube for 9 hours straight.
Yep. It's great for the iPad kids.
Wipe my nose, kick my feet up in the air,
Yep.
cough loud, tongue out.
Oh man.
Okay,
Uh,
yes, I'm remembering Life Aquatic more now. I
yep.
This is making me remember how much I loved all of these and
Hmm.
would more than happily watch them all again
Yeah. Yeah, same.
several
This
times.
it's making me want to go in the garage and find them all so I could watch all of them because I only got to do a few. I rewatched Bottle Rocket, Moonrise Kingdom, Asteroid City, Isle of Dogs, and one other one. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, probably
Oh
Fantastic
well.
Mr. Fox because that's on like HBO or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Oh yeah, but really want to rewatch these. This next one, Darjeeling Limited, that's one I've probably seen the least. But that's like the
That's one that has a scene that affected me the most.
yeah, that's like one of the heaviest ones of all of them.
Yes.
That just like
That's it's Adrian Brody. Who else is in like the crew that's on the I all I can remember is Adrian Brody very
yeah.
distinctly.
Adrian Brody, Jason Schwartzman, and Owen Wilson, and they're brothers. Yeah.
Yes, okay. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a great like adventure
Hmm. Yeah.
type thing. Um if I can remember correct, I guess a lot of his movies have like a grand quest that someone
Hmm.
is on.
Yeah.
Um but I think that one was really it because it this one oh my god this the scene that I'm remembering specifically is when the kid drowns in the river
Yes. Yeah.
and it just happens
Hmm. Yeah.
the way
Like
that it's
right in the
shot.
middle of all the whimsy,
Yeah. A kid dies
a kid dies, and then it's just
and they
real
couldn't
heavy for a
save
few
him.
minutes. Yeah. They try. Yeah. Adrian Brody
Sorry,
tries to save him.
we'll have to edit this
Yeah.
because a phone call just stole the focus from
Oh
my
no, you're good.
headphones and I reconnected back to my laptop. and Spotify started playing Foo Fighters.
They wanted to give you some tone for the dead
Yeah,
kid in the river story.
that's right. Well, it was learning to walk again, which is impossible.
Yeah.
Okay, let me put on Do Not Disturb so it doesn't happen again. I'm sorry.
All right, no, you're good. Let me do
Yes,
that
so yeah,
for
that that
myself too.
that scene in that movie is so poignant to me. I remember it being like, we're fun, we're on this like romp adventure, and oh my god, a kid died.
Yeah. Yeah, like real heavy out of nowhere, and it's done so well too. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel out of place, even though tonally it is, but it fits with the movie, and it's
Oh
crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
it's
because I
I
think
believe.
they do the funeral as
Mhm.
well after that. It's like kind of ceremonial, and I,
Yep,
yeah, that was heavy.
yep, and they're like welcomed into the community for a little bit and everything, and then they,
Hmm.
eventually they move on with their quest. And I think it's a bonding thing after their dad died, if I remember right. Yeah,
Is
I
that what
think
was
so.
the
Like
okay?
what the whole purpose of their trip. Yeah.
The inciting incident
Yep. Yep.
is a term I think is
Yep.
filmy.
It is. But do
Good,
I know
good.
enough to know if it's used correctly?
Oh my god.
Ah. Okay, so after that, I really should have wrote these down. I used to have it like memorized. I think after that is it Moonrise Kingdom next?
Oh
No,
wow.
Fantastic
That's
Mr. Fox is next.
Oh, interesting. So that happened before Moonrise Kingdom. I
Yep,
thought that all of the kind of stop motion stuff happened in
like
one
together.
block.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
that's the one I can't didn't
Yeah, that's
watch
the
it.
one you haven't
Yeah.
seen, and luckily I don't have to talk about it in this episode because I did a full episode on it. So
Oh, great.
you can go
I
back
loved
and
that
listen to that
episode.
one. But yeah, lots of cameos in that, all voice, obviously, stop motion. Very it's giving autumn. So if you're into that, then great
It's
fall
giving
movie to
thanks.
watch.
That's great.
All right, next is Moonrise Kingdom. Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So this one we'll talk a little bit more on. Great movie. It's two kids run away together. One Boy Scout type. It's a khaki scout is what they are in the movie. It's taking place in like the 60s, I believe. I forget if they say the exact year.
It
Um,
is, I believe, September 2nd through 5th, 1965.
you're
Because
right. It
at the
is.
beginning, the narrator is saying that this place is famous for the storm that will occur in 3 days.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm glad you were paying closer attention because
Oh, I so was because I knew,
yeah.
like, I was watching it more academically.
Yeah.
I wasn't writing down notes, but I was taking mental notes and
Mhm.
watching the movie in a way that I don't normally
Yeah.
watch them. Yeah,
I usually do, but just for whatever reason, this last rewatch, I was just kind of doing a bunch of other stuff, so I missed the year. But there's so much stuff that's just ingrained in me from this movie, like
sure.
visually, those visuals, those jokes, those man, that this is one of the probably visually my favorite one, and like from the costumes and everything too, like those are the I've seen people, a lot of couples dressing as the two kids
Oh
for
yeah,
Halloween. Yeah, definitely seen that a
yeah.
bunch.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think talking about like okay, so there's a moment in while Edward Norton is walking through the khaki scout camp, like taking
Mhm.
inventory and giving kids demerits for not having like their uniform right and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And as he's walking through, he sees a kid like holding a bunch of wood.
Mhm.
He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Building a tree house, sir." Where? And it's like up this crazy tree that's like completely like wacky, not structurally sound in any way.
Yeah.
But the way that it like the camera like backs out
Hmm.
and shows you this thing immediately sets the tone for how grounded in like physical reality we are.
Yeah.
And it immediately lets you know, like, not totally,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Not
like the point
100%.
is I'm trying to show you like funny, like I think it's like kids' imagination, you
Hmm.
know, like is
Yeah.
a big theme in this. So it's, I think some of the things are like how kids imagine what it was like to be like a khaki scout. Like in your memory, a tree house was all the way up on top of this tree that had no other branches,
Hmm.
just one big trunk up into the sky.
Yeah.
But I thought that like set the tone for like some of the other things that happened that are like, oh, that's wacky.
Oh
If, and
yeah.
if they just happened on their own, would be like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. I totally agree with you right there. Yeah, like when he gets struck by lightning and stuff and is fine.
That's right.
And
Yeah,
the end with the when the church tower falls over and stuff.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, why did he need to get struck? It like it's just a
No.
thing that just happened.
Yeah.
It had no like significance beyond that moment. Like it was
Yeah.
just a funny, wacky thing that's like in his triumph of "come and get me, you bastards" or whatever he says. What
Yeah.
if he gets? What if the nickels that he's carrying attract a bolt of lightning?
Yeah. Uh,
There's a
he,
very funny moment where he like gets up from that. He's just all like covered in like soot and ash,
yeah.
like from head to toe, and he
Yeah.
gets up and blows off his glasses, and they're perfectly clean,
Yeah.
so that he can like see through it. Those types of details are so fun and
Yeah.
very funny. Yeah.
All right, I do have a question. Which treehouse do you think is more structurally sound? The one in Moonrise Kingdom or the one that we ended up at in the woods in Mesa?
Oh my god. Um, the one in the one in the movie, the make
Yeah.
believe one. Yes. Yeah. Because if any of the members in our crew had tried to actively knock down the treehouse, we
Mhm.
wouldn't be recording the podcast today.
Yes.
There was also threat of arson
Yeah.
in that moment.
Yes. This is
Yeah.
summer, mind you, in
Yeah,
fire-prone San Diego, California.
that's right.
And someone is lighting fuses in the dry ass forest
Oh my god.
below us. Yeah.
Oh, that yeah, that we like trekked into this. It was what it this adventure began at like 11 p.m. if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah.
And we like trek into this canyon with a friend. Like we had our like regular like group of friends, and then one of them brought a friend of a friend
Yes.
who was in all senses of the word a wild card.
Yeah.
He was, and we were what, 19
Yeah.
ish,
18,
something like that,
19.
18, 19.
Yeah.
And the thought that his backpack, like we were hearing his backpack like clink as he was
Yeah.
like walking down into the forest, and we're like, do you have like beer in your backpack? And he was like, yeah, of course I do. It's, I'm 18. Was like a big eye-opening moment to me, but that was the least dangerous thing in his backpack
Oh yeah.
by far,
Yes.
by a wide margin.
There
And we
I would not be surprised to like later find out he had a gun in there or something.
oh dude, for
Yeah.
sure. If we can contact the correctional facility he's most certainly in and ask to speak with him, I think we could get some more answers. He but if I remember correctly, it was also like his, he knew where the treehouse was. This was like his idea, right?
Like I think they built it
Oh no.
or
I didn't
something.
know
Yeah,
that.
which is even scarier.
Oh my god. And treehouse is so generous of a like term. Like it
Yes.
was more like plywood in a tree.
Yes. It like they might have built it by just tossing wood up until it stayed and not secured it at all.
That's right. They might have gone into the ravine just to throw wood around and
Oh yeah.
accidentally made it something that resembled a treehouse.
Oh shit.
Oh my
Uh,
God. Yeah. Well, there's a scene in Moonrise Kingdom where there's like 9 khaki scouts in that
oh
treehouse.
yeah. And then it's
No
also like
chance.
I
Yeah.
feel like it's bigger on the inside than when you look at it from the outside, which I also love.
Yes, and that's just perfect for the whole thing. Like the whole fact that it's like already an impossible thing.
Mhm.
You can totally like indulge the bigger on the inside than outside thing.
Oh yeah.
It reminded me of this of the Sandlot.
Hmm. Yeah.
There's that scene in the Sandlot where they're making s'mores. Some
Yep.
more of what? Whatever.
You
It
killing
it
me,
it
S'mores.
reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I do. I also love how like they all band together to help out the kids, Sam and
Yes.
I'm blanking
Sam
on her.
and Suzy.
Suzy, yeah,
Yeah.
Suzy Sharp.
Yeah. Suzy Sharp and Sam Shakusky.
Yep.
They
Yeah, I remember Sikorsky.
yeah, yeah. They yeah, but it's like after the little asshole gets stabbed,
Oh
then they
yeah.
all like the one like jerk who's in charge gets
Yeah.
hurt and can't like be the voice for the group anymore, and they all realize,
Yeah.
are we the bad guys?
Yeah.
Which is funny because I've mentioned my favorite movie is Inglorious Bastards. Why do all these kids look like little like Nazi soldiers?
I know.
Like they kind of do look like. I think
Hmm.
it's like they're sort of like alluding to that, right? Like
Yeah.
it's sort of like they look like child soldiers,
Yep.
like European child soldiers is
Oh
like
yeah.
the way they show up on the motorbike
Yep.
and all of that stuff. That felt like Inglorious Bastards. There's a
Yeah.
moment in the movie where where Sam and Suzy have run away
Hmm.
and the khaki scouts find them the first time.
Yeah.
And that felt like the scene where you meet the bear Jew in
Yep.
Inglorious Bastards.
Yep.
Yeah, it felt a lot like that. Like everyone kind of spaced out. Everyone's got their own thing they're going to say, and all that stuff was really
Yep.
cool. But yeah, but it was in that scene where the big bad kid,
Hmm.
the leader of the mean khaki scouts, gets stabbed by lefty scissors,
Yep.
which is again just a fun detail.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then later on the boys realize, that was we're not being good. I want to do good.
Yep.
But I was later on in the movie, Sam runs into the mean kid while he's in the infirmary.
Hmm. At the other camp. Yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't remember what happened. I guess I was surprised to realize on my second rewatch that the kid like stays bad. Like he
Yeah.
actually doesn't learn a lesson. Like
Yeah.
there was no like redemption arc for him. Like he stayed an asshole and
Yeah.
was holding the binoculars and everything, and like rightfully gets punched in his stab wound a bunch of times by
Yeah.
Sam.
uh,
Yeah, like there's some things in Wes Anderson movies that I like.
mhm.
That's one of them. Is like sometimes people just like don't learn a lesson.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
like there's a moment when Bill Murray and his wife, they're in their separate beds and they're in the
Mhm.
house and they're talking. They're just like it's the driest conversation. Like they're falling asleep and they're talking about work, right? The
Mhm.
like court cases that they're individually working on and stuff.
Yeah.
And he has this, he's got 2 black eyes, and he's telling her, I'm sorry, this and that, blah, blah. And she's like, you don't have to be sorry, or it's not your fault or something. And I wish, he says something effective. I wish the roof would fly off this house and I get sucked up into space.
Yep.
And he's just like a forever sad sack.
And
He
then
doesn't
you'll
really
you'll be
get like
happier without me. Yeah.
yes, that's right. Yeah. And everyone has had that thought of like,
Yeah.
oh, it's very relatable. And you can tell because the camera is like directly over them. Like
Mhm.
you're seeing them like essentially like perpendicular. And
Yeah.
there's just that moment he's just laying on the pillow with his 2 black eyes staring up at the ceiling. Like you could just like, I just wish I would die.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like get fulfillment at the end
No.
of the movie. Like he's still like this sad, depressed, drunk, I'm going out back to chop down a tree.
Yeah. And his wife's probably still cheating on him with
Yeah.
Bill Murray
But
or with uh What? Why?
With Die Hard.
Yeah, Die Hard. Bruce Willis. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
My brain is not recovered from my sleep last night.
Oh, did you not sleep well? Did you
No, I
ponder
took
at the ceiling, hoping it would suck you out into the stars?
no, like my allergies have been bugging with the weather change, so I took
Oh
a
yeah.
drowsy allergy pill and it knocked me out.
Well, you sound great.
Thanks.
Yeah, that I think that's one thing is like some things don't need to be tied up. Like people like viewers like sort of expect that every storyline gets tied up, everyone has a happy ending.
Yeah.
And there's a sort of brutalness
Mhm.
to some of the characters he writes where no, they just stay unhappy or angry or
Yeah.
hurt or something like that.
Yeah.
They don't need some characters don't deserve a happy ending even though you want it to happen.
Hmm.
That's not that wasn't in that's this isn't their story. Maybe there's another movie that's
Yeah.
about Bill Murray and his wife finding happiness on this island,
Yeah.
but it's not this one. This is not their story. I
No.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, this movie is just so good. It makes me remember like what it was like to be because I think they're what like 12 or 13 in the movie.
Yeah,
They're
I think
like
so.
they might not even like be teenagers yet.
Yeah.
But if everyone has that memory of like what it's like to have like your first crush
Hmm.
and it's weird like it's you don't understand anything about relationships. You just know that like this person I'm attracted to I don't know why. And
Hmm.
you're kind of like feeling that for the first time like as a kid.
Yeah.
This movie captures that feeling perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like awkward. They come from like different backgrounds. They don't really know how to like communicate with each other, but there's something like deeper there.
Hmm.
I just thought there's the moment on the beach where they like the beach that ends up being called Moonrise Kingdom, the
Yeah.
title inlet,
Yeah.
and they like essentially like experience like falling in love, but
Hmm.
it's too it couldn't be right because they're 12,
Yeah,
like it's
exactly.
this whole thing where it's very aware of like I love you and I love you,
Yeah.
but the viewer knows no you don't,
Hmm.
you have a deep crush, you have no experience to tell you like whether this is like true or not. But
I
that's
know.
the thing, it's like reckless, the whole thing of like running away from home and going
Hmm.
on this whole adventure, it's all reckless, it's just like indulgent childhood, which
Yeah.
is so cool to me. The
Hmm.
movie just captures that perfectly. It makes me remember like going on little adventures and stuff,
Yeah.
and it just nails that perfectly. No other movie I think like does that for me than
Yeah.
this one.
This is one of the most well done versions of that because there's a lot of things that try that. Like I know like using kids is somehow like so relatable and I don't know why. It's like yeah, like I don't know, maybe because we divert so much as adults into so many different possibilities of a life. But and even though and I'm not saying every childhood's the same, but I don't know. I think those feelings are so similar no matter what the situation.
Yeah,
And because
they're pretty universal.
there's something that works about movies like and shows like look how successful Stranger Things is. Like there's a reason that that's so successful. E.T., The Goonies, all that stuff,
Yeah.
those Stand By Me. It just works and I think this does is if not the best, then one of the best versions of that.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it captures those feelings of falling in love. It captures those uh feeling out of place, whether and then also just like two different types of feeling out of place. You got Sam who's an orphan and Susie who comes from a loving family, but like, well, she comes from a family, but they could be a little more supportive of stuff and things like that. But and Sam even points out the like, I love you, but you don't know what you're talking about,
I
because she
love that.
says
I
that she
love that line.
wishes that she was an orphan, you know,
Yeah. He
and
delivers that so well. Like
yep,
for a 12-year-old actor to say, I love you, but you have no idea what you're talking
yeah.
about.
And I love that she doesn't argue with them because she kind of like realizes like, okay, you're right. I don't
Yeah,
know what I'm talking about. She just says, I love you too, and I
that's
love
right. Yeah.
it's It's
Mhm.
beautiful. I love that scene. I love
When
that
you
scene
were
with them on the
mentioning,
beach.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I love the scene with them on the beach dancing to that song, the Francois Hardy song. It's so good.
Yeah, his moves, their
Yep.
moves are so different
Yep.
because she's just sort of doing like a more just like swaying, and he's just in there pumping his arms
Yep.
and all that stuff. I just love that. And then eventually like they dance together and they share a kiss and all that stuff, but it's just like them being on opposite sides of the frame, right?
Yeah.
Doing like their separate things and then coming together. Like it's just so well done.
Yeah.
Like it tells us there's no dialogue
Yeah.
until they like are touching each other.
Yeah.
And then it's then but like there's so much like done by just two characters just dancing apart from each other that is so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
When you were mentioning other movies that are like a story of kids on a romp, you know,
Yeah.
I almost said Lord of the Flies, which uh I realize actually uh there's moments in Moonrise Kingdom that are like Lord of the Flies,
Yeah.
like just kids like embracing tribalism,
Hmm.
essentially. Like what happens when there's no government? You know,
Yeah.
what happens when there's no parents to tell kids what to do?
Hmm.
And there's just like like unabashed evilness that like
Hmm.
happens sometimes.
Yeah.
And of course, Moonrise Kingdom is way lighter
Yeah.
in Lord of the Flies. Uh, no one is pushed off a cliff and killed or whatever,
Yeah.
but um, yeah, I actually didn't think about that parallel until now, and I wonder how much he was inspired or thought about Lord of the Flies when he was doing this movie,
Yeah.
or if he or if at all.
Yeah. I wonder. Yeah. I have to look into that because there are a lot of parallels. And it is because it's those kids on their own because they ran away. And then the one authority sent all these other kids to
That's right.
go get them with no
Yeah,
supervision, though. So,
that's right. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I should watch Lord of the Flies again. No, I won't. That movie makes me sick.
I I think I've only seen part of one version of it, and literally all I remember is the foam boulder bouncing back up off of Piggy, who they were murdering.
The oh my god. That scene specifically is the one that I read the book first before I
Okay.
saw the movie, and that's the only time a book has made me feel like actually like queasy,
Yeah.
because the way that it's described in the book,
Oh, yeah.
there's no like bad movie magic pulling you out of the
Exactly.
moment, and it is just like vicious and gross.
Oh, yeah. I bet.
Yeah, yeah, made me ill. Anyway, Moonrise
Oh,
Kingdom
oh yeah.
plays on the same themes but without the like vulgarity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And dude, how cool of a khaki scout leader is Edward Norton?
Oh, I love him. And I think I can relate to him now as just like I'm just trying my best, you know?
Yeah. Just do it. Yeah, you when you realize that there's like an awareness of him, like when
Hmm.
there the a message is sent to the other camp of
Yeah.
Falcon Scouts or whatever, like the older kids, and
Yeah.
the Scoutmaster Harvey Keitel is like, "Can you believe now he's lost his whole troop?" Because just there's a moment in the movie where they're like in the church or whatever, and there's like the play going on of Noah's Ark, and this
Hmm.
happens 1 year earlier.
Yeah.
They had a different Scoutmaster that
Mm.
wasn't Edward Norton, so
Right.
like this is his first time doing this,
Yeah.
and he makes a big point like, what do you the kids ask him, what do you do for a job, and he's like, I'm a math teacher, like, whatever, and they like razz him a little bit about that, like, do you need a PhD to
Yeah.
whatever, and he's like, actually, I'm changing my answer. I'm a khaki scout troop leader
Math
first,
teacher on the
and
side.
then I'm a math teacher on the side. There's just his character is so funny. Like he's not he's not an idiot.
No.
You do get the feeling he is trying his best,
Yeah.
but he has all these like high intentions.
Hmm.
and he was probably a khaki scout when he was a kid. So
Yeah.
he's like trying to be the khaki scout leader he remembers his khaki scout leader being, but
Hmm.
has no experience. So he
Yeah.
makes all sorts of mistakes. Like, oh, a kid got away. All of you go find him.
Yeah. uh,
Yeah, he's really great. He
yeah.
what is the there's another he's in a few of these movies, but what's another one that he's in where he has a really prominent character in a Wes
Mm,
Anderson movie?
trying to think.
Because I realized
He's
I had conflated a couple of them
because he's
when I
the leader
rewatched.
of the like military police in Grand Budapest. There's
Yes,
fairly major in that. He's in Asteroid City, but more behind the scenes because it's the way that Asteroid City is set up. This isn't a spoiler. Is that it's a play, but you're seeing it like, but it's shown as a movie, and then you'll go back. It, in black and white will be like the behind the scenes of the play, and he's the playwright, basically.
got it. Okay. It must be Grand Budapest then, because I'm just conflating the two times where he's like in a uniform.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Grand Budapest Hotel, was that the one with I'm hopefully not getting them confused. Um Tilda Swinton plays like an elderly woman,
Yes,
and
yes.
the current Flash Gordon is in there as like the bellhop.
Hmm. I think so.
I think that's right. That's probably my next one to
Yep,
watch,
yeah, yeah.
to rewatch. Yeah.
Flash from Spider-Man. He's the he's the lobby boy.
Yeah, not
Um,
Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon is something different. The Flash.
Flash Thompson.
Yeah.
I think it's Flash Thompson.
Flash Thompson.
I think. I don't know. They
Flash
say his
Gordon.
name so infrequently, but he is in there just prominently
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
movies. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that
Tony Ravolio. I forget.
so
Yeah,
Tony, I if it's not Tony Ravioli, I don't care to know what it is in reality. I'm not even gonna look it up. Don't care to.
um, and then Rafe Fiennes, Voldemort is the main guy.
The
Um,
main what
like
guy?
like the main hotel concierge.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, who was Voldemort in Moonrise Kingdom?
No, no, in Budapest.
Yeah, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious to know, how do you rank Moonrise Kingdom in your all-time favorite movies and then within Wes Anderson movies?
I upon like when I do rewatches, and because it's very hard to not fall to recency bias with Asteroid City, because I do really like that one. He's like doing all his tricks to 100% on that one.
Mm,
Um, but like I said, it's recent, so it's like it has that, there's a filter over it. So I
yeah,
can't say that
sure.
that's my favorite right now. Moonrise Kingdom has always been neck and neck with Grand Budapest for me. Um, but I think Moonrise is a little more special. A little more relatable, a little more accessible, I think. I think it just makes me happier because while Grand Budapest is really good, it does have a very bittersweet ending, and it is very sad at the end. And it's like you said, like it doesn't always have to be a happy ending, and that's another
Yeah.
really good example of that because uh, he just dies at the end, and
Yeah.
and it's said very like in the end he died, and that's
Yeah.
it.
That's it.
Like
Yeah.
oh
That did happen, but it's not the interesting part of the story that I wanted to tell you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, yeah, you mentioned like something that like the movie Moonrise Kingdom does make me happy at the end
yes.
because of like Sam is a foster kid, and
Mhm.
one of the first things you learn is when he goes missing,
Mhm.
Die Hard and the Hulk um, reach out to social services essentially, and they connect them with the parents. And the parents say, "Oh, well, we're not taking him back." The foster
Yeah.
parents do. Like, he's a troubled kid, wish you best of luck,
Yep.
but he's your problem now.
I know.
But
And
at
then
the
the
end, when he's like essentially like the climax of the movie is when they're climbing onto the bell tower of the church and the storm is at its peak,
Mhm.
and the just before the lightning strikes the bell tower, Sam accepts uh the policeman diehards
Mhm.
like invitate, like, I will be your foster
Yeah.
parent. And it's like all the characters have an interaction here, from
Mhm.
social services to Bill Murray and his wife, and
All the khaki
uh,
scouts.
all the khaki scouts. Everyone is involved in this
Yeah.
culmination, which is just like awesome. Like, it's just all this noise happening at once, and then it
Yeah.
results in the one question, like, what do you say, pal?
Yeah.
And there's the moment where it's close in on Sam's face as he looks at Suzy and she nods, and he
Yep.
makes like that
Mhm.
kind of like tight-lipped, yes, I will do it. And he reaches out and grabs his hand.
Yeah.
Is so great, because then really the next thing that you see of them, of the kids,
Mhm.
is Sam is in the house painting, in
Mhm.
Susie's house painting,
Yeah.
and you can just see from the outsides, because it's like the way that it's shot is you're looking in at the back of his canvas,
Yeah.
like, and it's obscuring him, but you
Mhm.
see on the outsides of what you can see around the canvas is the police uniform, like a
Yeah.
little junior version
Yep.
of Bruce Willis's outfit,
The
which is
island
like
police.
Island Police. That's
Yep.
right. Yeah. And you really get the full effect of it when it's dinner time and everyone scatters, and Sam and Suzy say goodbye, and he jumps out the window, and you get
Mhm.
that full shot of him in his uniform, and it's like fulfillment,
Mhm.
and it's just delightful. Like, it's a
Yeah.
nice way to like make you feel good at the end of the movie.
Mhm.
Like, you see everything tied up and everyone's happy,
Yeah.
and it's what you hope would happen, but they make you like not think it's going to happen so many times throughout
Yeah.
the movie, so it really pays off well. And he's just freaking like adorable in his little
Mhm.
mini police outfit.
Oh yeah.
Gets in the car with his foster dad and heads away.
Yeah.
Just so good.
One of the saddest things, because you said about how the old foster dad is saying like, oh, he won't be welcome back. And it's so sad, like later when he's talking to Susie and he has no idea that this conversation is taking place. He's like, oh, like I feel like we're finally gonna be a family and stuff like that, and that things are going well.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, and he doesn't find out until later, because Scoutmaster gives him the note,
Yeah.
essentially,
Yeah.
hands him when they do find him.
Hmm.
Yeah. Another thing I learned on the rewatch is that in the storm, the tidal inlet where
Hmm.
they camped out that night is washed away. Like, they
Yeah.
show you like the new map and it's completely gone.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like, that didn't need to happen.
Hmm.
But the fact that it did is that much cooler, because now it's truly just this like moment that is only memory.
Yep.
Even geographically, you can't go back to it.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It makes it so much more special for them, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just yeah, that's
There were
awesome.
also a few moments like the idea of like there's an impending storm, right?
Hmm.
And it just the rain picks up and the wind picks up slowly like throughout the movie. Reminded me of Shutter Island,
Mm.
which
Yeah.
is another one of my favorite movies,
Yeah.
where and of course in that movie the storm's not real, right?
Hmm.
It's the mentally ill brain
Yeah.
making all of this stuff up in Leonardo DiCaprio's mind. But the way that the storm works in Moonrise Kingdom to be just like also um, the storm of all the relationships happening like at the
Hmm.
same time, and the way that it all crescendos with the lightning strike on the bell tower, it's
Oh
just
yeah.
like perfect. Like, the
Yeah.
storm like may not like there could have been a version of the story where the storm's not real, right?
Hmm.
It's just in the same way, like
Yeah.
it's turmoil, it's not a real storm, but
Yeah.
was so good. Another effect was really funny last night. It was super windy here, So we're
Mhm.
looking outside the window and all the trees are blowing and like pine needles are hitting the window and stuff. It
Yeah.
was very immersive.
So you got a
We
free
never get in.
40x version.
Yeah, that's right. It was really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh man. Man, I love that movie so much. I think it would be in my top 10 all time for sure. I just don't know where in the top 10. Uh,
Mm.
but yeah, because it is
What?
it is probably my favorite Wes Anderson. Because it is the one I go back to more. Because it is that comfort.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think it has a shorter runtime than the others too. Like it's a little more of a like a
Mhm.
condensed story.
Yeah.
It's just a little less like fantastical, you know?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
if you just need a like a 90-minute hit,
Yeah.
this is it.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's perfect for that.
Yeah.
Trying to
Thank you
think.
for showing me that movie. It's
Yes.
so good.
You're no problem. Oh man. I love that one so much. Yeah, that one's it's just too good. Um Trying to think if there's anything else I want to say on that one. I think we covered most of that.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything I wonder like I'm just very quickly scanning like the wiki page
Yeah.
about it. Oh, yeah, one thing I wanted to mention is
Mhm.
like one okay, so that scene on the beach where
Yeah.
there's like two kids essentially getting intimate.
Mhm.
Uh I remember watching that for the first time, I remember being like, how did they do this
Yeah.
well? Because
It could
that
easily.
so dangerous to
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
The point that the director is trying to make is very pure, right? It's
Yes.
not it's
Yeah.
there's nothing disgusting about this, but
Mhm.
done any differently than how they did it, the
Mhm.
movie is a huge problem.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Big time. And
Yeah.
it's crazy because it's like I know like how they did it like technically like I know that it was literally just like him, the camera, and I think their parents or something like that, and everyone was very like if you're uncomfortable like this that say
And they
something,
filmed it last. It was the
yes.
last thing they did.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that way they'd be more comfortable with each other too. And they've
Hmm.
made sure that they were okay with it, that their parents were okay with it, all that stuff, and then just minimize the amount of people to the bare
Hmm.
minimum, like that were there. So
Yeah.
I think that's good. But even with that, it could still have turned out bad. So
Right.
I think that does just go to show the power of Wes Anderson and his visual storytelling. Like it's, like, I don't know. It's so weird
Yeah.
because it easily could have been like ruined his career.
Yeah, it easily could have been not allowed to be shown anywhere, like that
Yes.
type of thing. And all it would have taken was just one line that's different, or the way
Mhm.
like, or even the events leading up to it, what
Mhm.
happens after, the way
Yeah.
adults react to it, like all of
Yeah.
these. It's not just that moment. It's just
Yeah.
how it's like referred to and presented and all that stuff. And it really isn't. Like there's that moment, like the next morning they wake up and the tent is ripped off. Like Bill Murray rips the tent off of them. Very
And
very
he's
funny actually.
yeah.
Like he hears the like boat approaching in the morning. Sam does, and he grabs his glasses and puts them on. Opens the tent, sees everyone out there, all the khaki scouts, Edward Norton, Bruce Willis, Bill Murray, like Susie's parents are there, like everyone
Yep.
is there. And he scrambles back into the tent and zips it shut. And Bill Murray just runs up and pulls the tent off the ground.
And then just looks at them and just drops it in defeat and walks away. Doesn't say
Yeah,
anything.
just exactly. Yeah, just a sad sack. Like
Yep.
I'm angry, but I have no skills to deal with this moment.
Yeah.
I don't have what it takes. Yeah, but like even that, like discovering them could have been a problem, like the
Yes.
way that it was presented. Like it was just done
Mhm.
perfectly. And also the movie doesn't work without this moment
No. Yeah. Doesn't.
because that's the indulgent childhood part of it.
Mhm.
Is like the curiosity about like, oh, what is this feeling? You
Mhm.
know? And it just is so good. But I remember watching it for the first time when we watched it together a few years ago and being like, oh no,
Yeah.
what's going to happen here? And I
Yep.
was a little nervous because
Yeah.
I was just so it's such a sensitive subject matter. But
Yeah.
now watching it again, knowing that how well it's done, I was able
Hmm.
to just like experience it for
Yeah.
and just like not worry. And
Yeah.
that was better. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Totally agree with you because that's it, and it is pivotal. And there's so many so many times where they put a scene like that like with adults, and it's just unnecessary. It doesn't like make sense. I'm not saying that every sex scene in a movie is unnecessary, but there definitely are some that are like this furthers the plot how.
Yeah. Like any James Bond movie.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Which
not
is which
even.
is which is great. Like it's such a trope. Like in the first Austin Powers movie, there's
Oh
a
yeah.
scene that in James Bond would have led to a sex
Yep.
scene with Elizabeth Hurley,
Yep.
and instead it's like, oh, you're too drunk. You know,
Yep.
this is a bad idea, and
Yep.
it's Austin Powers having a moment of reason, going, no, this is why would we do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it when it's just there just to like, oh, look at these beautiful people,
Mhm. Yeah.
not this beautiful thing that's happening in their relationship.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So good. I think that's the last of things I had to like think about to say like for Moonrise Kingdom. Like
I
it's
think so
just
too.
everything is done well. There's no useless scenes.
Hmm.
Like there's nothing that is filler. And even the moments like you mentioned, like the fast dialogue that is
Yeah.
like Wes Anderson's thing when
Hmm.
they're it's a VO of their like letters back and forth to each other,
Yeah.
and it increasingly gets faster
Yeah.
and cuts off earlier, like in the middle of their talking. Like
Yeah.
you don't need to it. The entirety of the note doesn't matter. What it's
Hmm.
just like, and it eventually even ends in like the letters being passed are where love
Yeah.
Sam and when from Suzy. You
Yep.
know, like it's just even the content of the letters gets
Yeah.
shorter.
You don't even hear the when and where. Yeah. I
That's
love it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm tapped on that movie too. But if anything pops back up for the rest of the conversation, then. But
Cool.
next one's the last one that you saw, I'm pretty sure. Oh wait, no, no, never mind. But Grand Budapest Hotel's next.
Yes.
That's another. I think this was maybe the first one I saw. I saw it on a computer at work, like it was meant to be seen. Um, on my night shift. Um, from some like free
Oh.
movies website that I was able to
Yes. The ideal
access. Yeah.
viewing experience.
Yep. But immediately was like, oh, okay, now I see what the big deal with this guy is. Because I had seen advertising for Moonrise Kingdom, but okay, this isn't fair to the movie, but it was on like, it was back when Hulu would play the same commercial for every single commercial break.
Mm.
So by the time it like I was just watching through The Office, I think, and I was like, "Oh my God, I do not want to see this movie because I keep seeing the commercial every single time." But
Just completely inundated. Like, okay, no, now, out of spite, I
yeah,
won't watch it. Yeah.
yeah. And then when eventually I did watch Moonrise Kingdom, that's when I was like, "Okay, this is amazing. I love it." But yeah, Grand Budapest is so good. I also did a full episode on that one. Uh, but yeah, I love the way it ends, even though it is sad. Like
Remind me how it ends. You alluded to it earlier, but I don't remember how it ends.
so it's Jude Law is playing the an author, and he's getting the story from the old man version of the Lobby Boy. Um I wish I could remember the character's name right now. But
Zero.
Zero, yep. Zero Mustafa. Yep. And so he's getting the story from him, and you could tell it's in some like made up fictional Eastern European country. Uh, but it's during World War II ramping up basically, and eventually the country gets taken over by like a death squads and stuff like that. And they're on the train and they get stopped and they don't have the right uh, identification. And um, Ray Fiennes stands up to him, the death squad guy, and ends up getting killed. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. I
But
remember
you don't
now.
actually see it happen. But
Mhm.
that's another like great love story as well, because this is between two young, like older teenager, young adult. It's him
Mhm.
and Saoirse Ronan plays the girl, and she's amazing. Like she's done nothing but good stuff since then. So, and she has like a big birthmark on her face that's shaped like Italy, I believe.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
And she's like is living with this baker, but I don't know if there's any like relation or if she's just there, you know. But and then they end up getting married and everything. But there's like a whole uh heist plot and stuff like that. And the old lady played by Tilda Swinton leaves a painting for him. And what's his character's name now? Why can't I
I don't
remember?
remember.
Yeah. Yeah, the wiki
I
up.
Gustav.
Yeah, Gustav.
Yeah.
Gustav
Yeah.
H. Yep. Man.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, my brain's like blank today. Usually I
It's
could
okay.
like bring this up out of nowhere, but
Your brain made Tony ravioli earlier,
yes,
which
exactly.
is maybe a symptom of the medicine, but is
Yeah.
still just fine to me. It's
Yeah.
it's Ralph fine to me.
Yes. So yeah,
Yeah.
Gustav H gets left this painting that's like really valuable. But they're gonna try not to let him have it. And while they go through the will and everything, and her kids are trying to weasel their way to all the money. Adrian Brody plays the son. And yeah, there's a lot of murder and stuff like that.
There's also a good, if I remember correctly, like an escape through the sewer,
Yes.
which is always like a good thing in a movie.
Oh yeah, that prison escape is great. And that's
Yeah.
also Harvey Keitel is the um like the big how do I remember his character's name? Pinky Tuscadero. Oh my God.
Great.
I think that's it, or is that someone from
Let's see.
Greece? Or the last name? I know it's Pinky.
Pinky. Let's see. This just says Pinky.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, but that's
They do say the last name, but because he's writing a letter to no, not writing a letter, when Zero comes to visit him in prison. And he says that he got in a fight with like the biggest, toughest guy there. And then they actually became friends. And so then they plan this big escape together.
got it. Yeah, yeah, even IMDb doesn't say.
Huh.
Just Pinky.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm.
Whatever, dude.
But yeah, another great cast. You got Jeff Goldblum in there. Um,
That's right.
he pops up in a few. I think he was in Life Aquatic because he's like a competitor.
hmm Which
Yeah.
is great.
And I'm pretty sure gets left on an island with a bunch of pirates at some
Oh
point on
my
accident,
God.
and then they go,
I don't remember that. That's
yeah,
such like an indulgent thing to like have Jeff Goldblum do is get
yeah,
marooned on an island with a bunch of pirates.
yeah. Oh man, yeah. And Willem Dafoe being crazy, always good.
Oh, dude, he's so sick.
Yeah,
Just a complete maniac behind those eyes.
yeah. Um, but yeah. Do you have any other thoughts on that one? Or
No, no, not particularly.
yeah, that's another
It's
one
just
that
reminding me like how much I need to see them again because
yeah.
all that I really remember about most of these movies
Hmm.
is that I enjoyed them. And
Yeah.
when I think about them, I just think about colors.
Yes.
Like I just like they're all so colorful and vibrant. Even Bottle Rocket is
Yeah.
saturated like reds and blues and all of that
Mhm.
stuff. Like I think of each one as colors.
Yeah. Oh, Grand Budapest is pink and purple.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Moonrise Kingdom is like green and yellow.
Yep. Green and
Life
yellow.
Aquatic is blue and red. Yeah, and I just think, and obviously that's super intentional.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
I think of them by those colors, and I just remember them like pretty much all being joyful
Yeah.
and just fun to watch. So I do need to see them again to remember, like to yes, I remember this confused me the first time I watched it, or
Hmm.
something, and now knowing more stuff,
Yeah.
be able to see them again. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So on that note, let's move on to this is the last one you've seen, and this is Isle of Dogs. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love dogs.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, it was so good. I loved this one so much because the main like human character, the kid,
Hmm.
reminded me so much of my youngest brother. Just this like little he's also like the most Asian looking of us, so it definitely worked in that way too.
Yeah.
And it was just so good. Like watching, I loved, and I like we're dog people too.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
just this movie was just so cool to watch.
Yep. Yeah, I love the stop motion animation because I love how it's not 100% fluid, but neither is like Wes Anderson's live action stuff either, if you think about it. So it's
Yeah.
like it is very abrupt and
Mhm.
and that's very intentional because it's supposed to be reminiscent of those like 60s TV Christmas specials like Rudolph and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um
But it tackles like a heavier theme. Like if I
oh yeah.
remember right, like it was like dogs are exiled because there's like this virus that they're like spreading to people that may
Yeah,
or
it's
may
like
not
canine
be
flu, I
actually
think.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
But then it's like a conspiracy because the um I don't remember if it was the emperor or just like the mayor of Tokyo. I forget if it was Japan wide or just the
Let's
city.
see.
But either way, whoever's in charge is a cat person, and that's what it really boiled down to.
That's right. Yes. The city's authoritarian mayor, Kenji Kobayashi,
Yep.
ratifies an official decree banishing all dogs to Trash Island.
Yep.
Oh
And it's
man.
really funny. I think one of my favorite parts is when they're about to fight with this other pack of dogs over a bag of trash. And one of them says, like, wait, well, shouldn't we see what we're fighting over? It might not even be worth it. And then they open it up and it's real quick, like listing like the most stereotypical cartoon trash items, like half a fish, tin can,
Banana
like all these
peel.
stuff. And then like the list gets like interrupted like towards the end. It's worth it. And then they just start fighting in this like ball of cotton with limbs sticking out.
That to me is like just as funny as like any moment in Superbad,
Oh yeah.
or Step Brothers or something like
Yeah.
that. It's a completely different type of comedy,
Hmm.
but it's because it's just pure what is funny. It's not a
Yeah.
joke,
Hmm.
it's just a funny, super funny thing.
Yeah. And then like the when they meet these wise dogs and one of them is called the Oracle and the reason she's so wise is just because she can understand the TV. The humans on TV.
I didn't realize, I forgot about that. Like there's not really like magic
Yeah.
in this movie.
Yeah.
It's just limited canine
Hmm.
understanding of the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, I forgot that it is essentially like a evil cats
Yep.
controlling the government,
I think
essentially
is also
type
the plot
story.
of Cats and Dogs from the early 2000s. Uh,
It's probably also a plot line in some other animated pet movies.
oh yeah.
Is
It's-
Paw Patrol just a bunch of Bunch of cats working outside the law.
Yeah, the cats are the mafia and Paw Patrol, the organized crime. It's like The Wire, but cats and dogs.
Oh god. Yeah, Lance Reddick actually voiced a cat.
It was his last role, unfortunately.
Where's my money, bitch?
Uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
Isle of Dogs, I think is the better, even though I've seen Mr. Fox more, and I think more people like that one more. I think Isle of Dogs is a little better, in my opinion. It's a better movie.
It had a pretty unique aesthetic too, like being
Yeah.
like sort of like not North American or
Hmm.
uh I don't know, like there's just something about it being like sort of out of place to like an
Yeah.
American audience.
It's something I realized when I was watching Fantastic Mr. Fox that they also do with this is that all the humans are have the native language and accents of the region, and the animals are just whatever American actor.
Uh, Chris Pratt.
Because in Fantastic Mr. Fox, it's taking place in England, and so everyone has the British accent when they're human, but all the animals are just George Clooney and Bill Murray, and
Oh, that's funny. I didn't
yeah,
realize. Yeah, I'll have to watch Fantastic Mr. Fox with a blindfold on so I don't get creeped out.
yeah,
The accents thing will still play.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's good. It's a good one. I think that was the first of his that I got to see in the theater. So
Oh, that's
that's
cool.
also holds a special place in my heart. But it's only been that and Asteroid City that I've seen in the theater because French Dispatch came out during COVID, which that's the first
Mm,
that one you haven't seen. That one's really good. That's
mm-mm.
three separate stories um that are it's basically like a newspaper in an American run newspaper in France is closing down. And it's just like three stories that got told over the years, basically.
Oh,
And
nice.
so it's like
Okay.
three different segments, uh, all all-star cast as usual. And then same goes for Asteroid City. That one, the plot is it's a bunch of kids out in the middle of this desert town for a science fair because there's an asteroid crater site from like thousands of years ago. Uh, and so they're doing some science fair there. They're getting some grants from the military. And while they're there, an alien comes and takes the asteroid and leaves. And then now they're all quarantined there while the government figures out what's going on.
Oh my God. I'm so excited to watch this.
Yeah, that one I highly recommend. I think it's right up there with Moonrise and Grand Budapest and stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, I loved it. That's great.
I'll probably watch it this weekend.
And there's a kid, half of the plot is kid centric. So it's not like fully Moonrise Kingdom, but I'd say they're more of the subplot, like the adults were the subplot in Moonrise. So
Hmm.
the kids were the subplot, and yeah, but it's
Oh,
good.
that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. I like how the subplots all interop in these movies too.
Mhm.
Like they like cross over all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Like um I love that. I love when someone can tell a story that because it's that's a formulaic thing, right? You have plot and you have subplot.
Hmm.
There's one like The Office did that well. Like whatever
Hmm.
was happening, everyone was involved in it, even though it was two things happening. It all
Yeah.
converged in the office or whatever was going on or at this party or whatever.
Hmm.
There's another show, Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
Hmm.
which is Andy Samberg is a cop.
Yep.
Somehow a show about like lovable cops existed. And
In this century.
yeah. And one
New
thing that I
York
didn't
ones
like
even.
about it, yeah, New York, yeah, NYPD, the lovable, just just great guys. They one thing I don't like about that show, and this is where I became aware of this,
Hmm.
was that there's plot and subplot, just like every other sitcom.
Yeah.
But it's you get the impression this wasn't even filmed all within the same month. You know, like there's
Yeah.
nothing happens together. They never collide.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I love about Wes Anderson movies is just the complexity
Hmm.
of things that like run into each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really really good. Like even in Moonrise Kingdom, it's there's a moment where they go, "Oh, the missing girl is with Sam."
Hmm.
You know, like that's two separate things that are happening
Yeah.
that bring two totally uninvolved parties together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. And then Wes Anderson, you'll get those shots where it's like, oh, like there's 12 people in this scene and half of them are Oscar winners and the other half have been nominated.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're, and they're not known comedians, but they have the comedic timing. They're pulling it off.
Hmm.
And not everyone can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't all be Will Ferrell.
No.
Can't all be who's the funniest person in the world? Uh Gary Busey.
Well, I think this point's been made on like so you take like 21 Jump Street, which is a great comedy, and Channing Tatum, not a comedian, is hilarious.
That's
And
right.
then, stuff like that. But then like
Uh,
you look at like the Baywatch movie and you take the two handsome guys that happen to be funny with the funny people and put them together and it just doesn't work.
yeah. There's speaking of Channing Tatum being funny, I recently watched This Is the End again,
Oh, yeah.
where he ends up being I always forget the actor's name, but Kenny Powers.
Oh,
Uh
Danny McBride.
Danny McBride is just Danny McBriding it to an 11 in this
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
And in the apocalypse, he is like essentially like a Mad Max road warrior. And
Yeah.
he like has this like pet dog human that he's like whipping and like in like a bunch of like leather and straps and stuff,
Hmm.
and confronts Jay and what is his
Yeah.
Seth Rogen confronts him at the end, and the the dog the guy on all fours in leather like pulls off its mask and he's Channing Tatum and just in like a psychosexual love relationship with Danny McBride. Like he's really funny and he's
Yeah.
also like willing to be like the butt of the joke for the
Yeah.
sake of the joke. And
Yeah.
that's not something we're used to seeing with like Pretty Boys.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
another place that happened is in the Barbie movie, which we
Oh,
saw
yeah.
this
Yeah.
year.
Yep.
Um, dude, what's his goddamn name? Ryan Gosling
Oh, Ryan Gosling. He's
is
great.
so funny.
But he's been like a slow burn comedy guy for a bit, I think. Because like the first time I noticed like that he was like really good in a comedy was Crazy Stupid Love with Steve Carell. That was an
Mm.
okay movie, it's pretty good. It's just cut and paste rom-com, but with good people in it. And then but The Nice Guys with Russell Crowe, where they're like cops in the 70s or detectives in the 70s,
Oh
is
man, I've been told
really
to watch
funny.
this movie by someone else too. I have to
Yeah,
watch it.
that's one I finally I was like, you know what? I remember seeing the trailer, but I never got around to seeing it. And then it was streaming somewhere, and I finally watched it, and he's great in that. But yeah, killed it in the Barbie movie.
He sure did. I really loved that movie. I
Yeah,
wasn't anticipating that I would like it, but I
yeah,
loved it. Yeah.
yep. Oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
so good.
Barbie, not just for girls anymore.
No, for all the literally me guys out there
Yeah.
posting gifs from Drive.
Yeah. Backpacks clinking.
Yeah, with the driving gloves on. I
Fingerless.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't remember who it was, but I definitely saw someone in IRL put those on. Wanted to leave.
You're not safe wherever you are
Yeah,
anymore.
that's why I got out of the military. When my coworker came in and put on driving gloves.
Well, I'm out. I can put up with all
Uh,
this other stuff, but this is the final straw.
yeah. All right. Well,
Welcome.
I think we can wrap up the podcast here. I think we covered Wes Anderson pretty good. Looking forward to Oh wait, no. One more thing. Just recently on Netflix, he released four shorts based on Roald Dahl properties, and those were really
Oh, no
good.
way.
Yes. And the first one is the Fantastic World or Wonderful World of Henry Sugar. That's the longer of the four. That's like 45 minutes. Uh, Benedict Cumberbatch. And that one is done. Uh, the stylistic choices in that are really interesting because he's basically like reading the book. Like they're like reading the book basically and like acting it out. But they'll say like he said, oh, and then like turn to the
Oh, okay.
camera.
That's cool. Yep.
It's really weird, but really well done. And
These are four Roald Dahl stories I've never heard of.
yeah,
Like I think of like the BFG.
yeah, I think from what I read, they were like later on, like more older kids, young adult or something shorts when he was trying to get
Got it.
away from just kids stories or something like that. But those were
Yeah, that
good.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
So that's the latest thing he's done, and looking
Okay.
forward to whatever he does next. So,
Yeah, for sure.
but
I'll
yeah,
watch
definitely
these
check
too.
those out. Those are good. But yeah, that's Wes Anderson. Thank you, Doug, for joining me on this.
You're welcome. Thank you for indulging all of the times where I broke from any semblance of structure
Hey, that's
to
that's
talk
what
about
podcasts are
myself.
for.
Cool. Yeah, thank you for having me on. This was a blast.
All right. Yeah, so thank you guys for listening, and go ahead and check out the show on Instagram at movies they're pretty good with no punctuation in it, and see you guys next week. Thanks. Bye.